So, guys, today we're going to talk about Giannis and his – I totally missed what you said.
Nothing. Go ahead.
We're going to talk about Giannis and his mental struggles through the bubble and how he talked to Kevin Love and kind of worked it together. And honestly, it's just a really endearing story from Kevin Love. Steve, if you want to take the tag board, this is the first quote that ESPN posted yesterday. In 2020, I was ready to walk away from the game. I had that conversation, yes, with the front office. And then he continued to go on and said, everybody, no matter where I am, everybody was watching me. He was referring to the bubble because there was really nothing else going on. I don't think I have the time to turn it off, be myself, kind of just be me. And he admitted that he talked to Kevin Love. I talked to Kevin Love and told him how he inspired me to open up and helped me to be a kind of a better version of myself. And he was literally tearing up when I was telling him that. He never imagined he would be the one to help me figure this out and cope with all this.
Yeah, I mean, listen, when it comes to sports and really the military also, this is a major issue that guys are afraid to admit when they're hurting. Mental health is a real problem. I mean, dealing with mental health issues is a real problem, and a lot of times guys in general don't want to acknowledge that there's something wrong, that you're depressed, that you have anxiety, obviously PTSD for people that have been in the military. This is a huge problem. And players get depressed. They have problems. Kevin Love, as much as I've ripped him for at times his play and said he's not a Hall of Fame or whatever, I couldn't have more respect for the guy for what he did. I mean, what he did putting himself out there like that really opened the door for guys in all these sports to say, hey, I got a problem too. We've seen 2 players in baseball right now that are on the injured list because they can't handle anxiety right now. So, and I think there's less stigma to it because of Kevin Love.
And he had no idea at the time that it was going to turn into this. I had a conversation with him. We were in San Antonio. We're in San Antonio as a shoot around in the morning on the road. And I said, like, you realize you're like the face for this now. You're going to be the face for this. He said, no. And I'm like, no, I'm telling you, like, this is going to be a thing. Like, you're really putting yourself out there. And I don't think, and we talked about it later on, and I don't think he grasped the enormity of it in the moment. I think it's terrific. I think it's something at times he wasn't expecting to have to be the flag bearer for the mental health revelation, I guess is the best way to put it. But it's something he's embraced and grasped. And even, and we talked about it, like our parents' generation, and I'm obviously older than he is, you don't ever talk about it. Like because he said, my dad don't ever talk about Stan Love, who played in the NBA. He's like, you don't ever talk about this stuff. And even, I'm 46, even my generation, our generation, we're the same age. I don't think we really know how to deal with it and getting better. Yeah. But for the most part, I think it's the younger generation that is really sort of embracing it. Millennials, Gen Zs, I make fun of them for a lot of things. Yeah. But in this instance, I think they're right in terms of taking care of mental health.
Oh, absolutely.
And just this pressure and scrutiny that players are under today because of social media that guys, our age, our generation that we grew up watching never had to deal with before. Yeah. It's a thing.
Gee, I can't imagine being a kid. Like, think about being a kid right now. Like, if you got picked on in school, and I think schools generally do a better job of trying to not allow kids to get picked on as best they can. I think they do a better job of that than when we were kids. But, like, at least in school, like when we were kids, if you got picked on, if a kid got picked on, it happened in school, it was bad. But now...
You got home and you got away from it.
Yeah, now, like...
It's
kids
incessant.
get picked on social media. Yeah. It's freaking horrible. I can't imagine having to deal with that stuff.
We've basically done we've done the last 2 generations a disservice because what we've essentially done is, yes, we've raised awareness about mental health issues. My dad happened to work for the mental health department in Summit County and Stark County for years, right? He used to be a case manager. What he used to do is he used to have a place where he would have a caseload and he would help people make sure that they stayed on their medications. He would take visits with them if they didn't have anybody in their area. Maybe they needed to find transportation to go to different places, the grocery store. Just being there to make sure that the police, interactions with the police, hey, if the police would show up at an apartment, they would say, hey, call the case manager so that they can, have a liaison between them and law enforcement. So in this country, we've raised awareness, but at the same time, we've not done what we're supposed to do. Back in 1980, Jimmy Carter put in play the Mental Health Systems Act of 1980. And it was legislation signed by President Carter that provided grants to community health centers, right? So there was billions of dollars put into that system. A couple years later, Reagan got in office and he dismantled most of the program. And as of today, we continue to dismantle most of the program. If you look at it, Ohio was one of Ohio was one of the major states that cut the most funding to mental health in the United States.
What a disgrace.
So it's the 15th largest budget cut and hit the 8th largest cut in dollars of all 50 states during the fiscal 2009 to 2011 year. Now, if people don't know, in 2009 to 2011, everywhere in our country, we received massive cuts to the mental health system, right? Ohio, the 7th largest state, cut its general fund for mental health budget by $57.7 million, or 11.3% of its total budget. That brought funding down for almost $200 million. This happened in all different places. So yes, it's important for our athletes to talk about mental health. It's important for us to talk about mental health when it comes to school shootings and people having rifles and things like that. But at some point in time, our generation has to look in the mirror and say, we have to hold our elected officials responsible in saying, yes, it's cool for you to say we need to get our head around, we need to wrap our minds around, we need to bring awareness. Awareness time is over. We need the funding back. Where are the programs? Where are the budgets? Where are the things that you need to do in your community to help mental health, not just talk about mental health as it's a talking point? We've seen it all over the place. And yes, mental health is a thing that we can all sympathize with, but unless we are going to get serious about where our tax dollars are going, we will continue to have not only people in high schools, young kids, poor people, rich people. As you see, mental health affects the whole spectrum. So we need to be serious about where our dollars are going so that we can wrap our head around some of this stuff if we really serious about mental health.
Well, you're right. We're not serious about it. Our state is going to do nothing to fix that problem. So it's a lost cause, unfortunately. But but I do think Kevin, if nothing else, Kevin Love talking about this has taken away a lot of the stigma, because a lot of guys that are macho guys, athletes and military, police, whatever, firefighters, there was a stigma, and I think Kevin Love has made it less stigmatized. I mean, probably in some areas it remains.
DeMar DeRozan had a lot to do with it too.
Yeah, too.
That's
true.
Yeah, he was one of those guys.
But I mean, get back to the point that Giannis was ready to walk away in 2020.
Yeah, that's wild.
Top of the game, top of the world. Now, obviously, there was a lot going on in 2020.
Yeah,
a lot of people dealt with in their own ways. But to hear him say he couldn't take it and wanted to walk away from the game, you're talking about someone at the top of his craft, at the top of the sport.
That would have been a shame.
Unbelievable.
Have you met Giannis at all?
Yeah.
Is he as likable as he seems?
Yes.
Like, have you ever met a superstar this nice?
I don't know. He's up there. And I'm certainly not close with him by any means.
Sure, no,
I've had interactions with him.
But do you know anybody that's close with him? I'd love to know from these Bucks beat reporters.
Our Bucks writer's tight with him, I think.
Yeah, I'd like to know, because he seems like the nicest guy. I think I told the story, a friend of mine, his son, and my son is friends with his son, was in Greece this summer. Did I tell this story? I can't remember. I did?
I remember it.
Mike's saying that. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe. I'll tell it again for those who didn't hear it. My son, my friend Mike, shout out to Mike. He's Greek, and he took his family to Greece. They went to Greece for like 6 weeks over the summer. They have 2 kids, and my son is good friends with one of his sons. And one of his sons is a big Giannis fan and was wearing a Giannis jersey in Greece. And all of a sudden, the kid gets a tap on the shoulder.
I remember you saying that, yep.
And he's like, and it was Giannis. He's like, you're wearing my jersey. Chatted with them, signed on it. He went over to them.
Yeah.
It wasn't like they tracked him down and he was like, whatever.
Right.
Like, Giannis walked up to this kid and said, hey,
That's
you're wearing
cool.
my jersey.
That's
and he
really cool.
could not have been nicer.
Yeah.
On the opposite end of the spectrum, as we talk about mental health, so there are people who, need that outlet. There are people that need to talk to somebody and things like that.
Yeah.
But you know what I marvel at, though? Because most of us are in a spectrum. Most of us are in the middle area where, hey, we have our ups, we have our downs. Some days are better than others. Some people need a little more time to talk through and work through the feelings, right? And so we talk about Giannis and Kevin Love. But what I take a look at is the guys that are on the other end of the spectrum, like the Kobes, like the LeBrons. Like, it's almost like the level of singular focus that they can bring in, even though, like Giannis is saying, I can't go nowhere. They're looking at me. They're like, I can't be myself. Like, think about how tough that is, like at the highest levels in that food chain where LeBron will say, oh, I'm locked in. All I got to do is this. Kobe will be like, listen, I don't go to Allen Iverson would tell him he would come in and they go out to eat. He said, listen, I'm about to go to the gym. He go to the eat. They go, that level of focus, I don't even know if that's healthy.
I mean, they have bad days too.
Yeah.
I could tell you LeBron had a lot of bad days. And, they just probably don't talk about it, which is fine. Just because you don't talk about it doesn't mean you're not handling it well. You know what I mean? Some people handle it in their own
Some people are public about it, some people are not.
Yeah, but they're all human at the end of the day. But the one thing you said that struck me about like being out in public and people, I remember going back to Kevin saying like he'd be at dinner and would have to tell himself like, this is before he really came out with some of the struggles about you're not doing anything wrong, like because people would just stare at him or they'd want to come up and it made him uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And he'd be like, you have to take a breath and say, you're okay, you're not doing anything wrong, like you're just eating dinner, like it's okay. And just that process of just the uncomfortability that brings sometimes to always be in the spotlight. I would talk to LeBron about it. We were in the locker room and I said, can you ever just go to a movie? Just take your kids to a movie and go be normal. He goes, no.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like we was talking about it, like different things. Like I said, I was just the dumbest take I've ever had. I told my brother, shout out to my brother Bryson. He says, yeah, man, Janet Jackson, that's crazy. I'm like, man, somebody was like, yeah, she can't go do that. I'm like, what you mean? Janet Jackson could go through the mall, and he was like, no, she can't.
No.
And I was like, I thought about it, and I'm like, you're right. Like LeBron, he has to live in a zoo. Like he's not from Cleveland, but he couldn't just go to the grocery store.
And here's the thing, though. There's no sympathy for that because everybody would say, well, I'd give up that
You're right.
to have his life.
For the money.
Yeah, for the money in his life.
I do think there are pockets in and around Akron where he can run to the store and he's okay. Like he's more accepted and it's okay. And I should correct because I think he did take his kids to the movie and I said can you do that? He's like, no. He said I do it anyway, but I can't. Like
he could. He could rent out the movie theater.
Does he have security?
Yeah.
Does he have security with him all the time?
All the time.
Does his even a security detail on his kids and wife and everything like that?
I would imagine so. I don't know.
You think that with the security with his kids at school? I mean, he goes to
not
work.
at school, probably.
Right, yeah.
But I'm sure there are times where security is with them. I don't want to speak on. I'm not 100%. But with him,
LeBron's pretty unique. There are plenty. There are athletes that can go out in the public.
While we're sort of on that topic,
yeah.
When LeBron came back, the Cavs had to really beef up their security staff, right? They brought in a lot more.
Yeah.
And they really revamped the whole thing. And they brought in some former Secret Service agents. And Kyrie, they were on the road, and somebody was driving by and called Kyrie over to the car, like, Kyrie! And Kyrie walked over. And remember, Kyrie was still a young guy when LeBron came back. And the security, grabbed him and said, don't ever do that again. Don't ever just approach a car in the middle of the road.
How did he handle that?
You don't know where it's going to end. I think Kyrie said okay.
And I think Kyrie he probably has a nice security detail on him
now,
as well.
Times have changed.
Basketball players have it the toughest because of their size. It's I guess if you're a little guard, maybe not, but like a guy like LeBron, there's no way he's not going to get recognized.
You can't hide.
Even Mike Trout can go out.
Yes, Trout can go out and hide.
He can go out.
Hat and sunglasses, you're good. LeBron goes out. Although there are those commercials he's done for Blaze Pizza where some people don't know who he is. He's Ron. He's Ron with Blaze Pizza.
I've never seen those.
Oh, you got to look him up.
You don't think it's just fake?
No, I think some of it's real. It's like some girls that don't pay attention to sports and don't know who he is. But they're pretty funny.
Jason could tell you, I think part of the reason LeBron went to L.A. was because in L.A., there are massive amounts of people who are already rich. They don't want anything from you. Their kids think that they're the coolest thing in the world. Yeah. Like, if you go to kid with LeBron's kids, they're like, well, my dad's an actor. Well, my dad owns this. Yeah. Like, it's not as crazy to be like, oh, when you see Magic and then you see Kobe and you see stars all the time, it's like you can sort of live a regular life. A little bit, but not an actor. Stop.
You know, honestly, maybe you guys think I'm crazy. I thought for a second, like, who is the athlete in Cleveland, of the current Cleveland athletes? And don't answer it just yet, because I want to tell you what I thought.
Okay.
And you might think I'm nuts, but I thought, like, who would stand out the most? And obviously, the most famous guy is probably Deshaun Watson. But he doesn't really, like, stand out looks-wise. He's not that big.
Right.
I feel like Jared Allen would be the most recognizable guy. He's got the big afro. He's extremely tall. Like, I feel like you can't, if you know, and in Cleveland, I would guarantee Cleveland has the highest percentage of people that at least have some interest in sports than almost, if not any other city in America. Percentage of people, obviously not total people. I bet Jared Allen would get recognized even more than Deshaun Watson. Am I crazy?
I think it'd be Miles. I think it'd be Myles Garrett.
Fair.
Because
That's fair.
of how, and obviously there's more Browns fans than Cavs fans. Now, the difference with football is a lot of times they got helmets on, so you don't really see their face.
Miles would,
but
Miles is huge.
Miles doesn't.
I don't think Watson would get recognized all the time.
Probably not.
It depends where he was.
He could do the hat and sunglasses
right,
and get away with it.
Yeah, because he don't look like he looks like an athlete, but he doesn't look his physical.
He doesn't look like LeBron and Jared Allen and Myles Garrett and some of those other guys.
Listen, that's a
Jose Ramirez.
Oh.
If you ask
99%,
Stephen Kwan,
is there any guardian?
Stephen Kwan could be sitting next to you at a bookstore, and
the owner could
drinking a coffee. You wouldn't know it.
You could be on the flight with the owner, the general manager. None of you wouldn't. Donovan Mitchell is recognizable, but
he's not that big either.
I mean, but
I don't know.
I'm going like the hat and sunglasses. Who can put on hat and sunglasses and get to the store?
Donovan's not a thick guy.
Like mobbed.
What, Mike?
Donovan Mitchell's huge.
Is he?
He's thick. Yeah, he's not tall, but he's right.
I will say this is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
If he played well in the first series, everybody will know. Like that's the thing about Cleveland.
Do the Cavs players go like? I know they go
I
out.
mean, Jared Allen walked through the freaking concourse during All-Star Weekend last year. I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Well, this is not a good idea. Like, he just like,
wait a second.
Why? With him.
You think somebody's gonna is somebody gonna do something to him?
Nah, he got
You can't take players out the main entrance of the arena. Yeah. Like it's just.
Just that they're gonna get
it's
mobbed?
It's just gonna be a mob and
he has different energy. So like I learned this, right? Like. So you can either be a person that got decent energy. That's why the Ja Morant thing was so crazy to me. Like, because he was moving, how he was moving like he's a street dude. Like, you're a rapper. Like, you do know rappers die every week. Like, all of them. Even the most popular ones, they die. So it's the way you move in. Like, you invite certain energy. Like, you talk about you beating kids up. You got guns and stuff. And hopefully that's behind you. But when you look at Jared Allen, he said, I dress corny. I got an afro. I'm a nice dude.
He's in that Giannis category. Obviously not
super nice guys.
Yes.
Ain't nobody messing with him. Ain't nobody gonna mess with him.
He is who he is.
He's not going.
And he's not changing.
I mean, I've told this story. Deli once cut me off to get a parking spot to walk into go to that
Deli
juice.
got you?
He got me, and he went because he had to go to that juice place right by the radio station.
Yeah, I've gone there a few times.
And we had him on. No, he didn't even see me. I was actually making a U-turn. I was making a U-turn to get into the spot. And
he zipped right in.
I don't even think he saw me. But it was funny because we had him on. We interviewed him like a couple days later, and I mentioned the story. And he's like, with his accent, I can't do his accent.
Yeah.
But he was talking about, I had to get my juice or whatever. But
my mom loved Deli.
He could, I know. I mean, we all know a lot of the Browns players. They're out now. They're at the clubs all the time. Especially the guys those guys in the secondary. They don't stand out.
Yeah.
I used to see Jordan Clarkson all the time. Like I'm like, man, he'd be at these random like Whole Foods stores, like with some sweats on.
Yeah.
Now the only thing, at that time, nobody was paying attention to the Cavs. They had like Andre Drummond. I'm like, ain't nobody going down there. It was like, but some of the top flight dudes is different with basketball players.
Yeah.
Basketball dudes, like they got name brand, like you can look.
They're the most recognizable.
Unless it's somebody like Tom Brady or Peyton Manning.
The only baseball player that probably can't walk around is Aaron Judge.
Yeah.
He ain't walking. You can't. He just can't be randomly because he stands out.
That's about it. Because
Aaron Judge is the one guy because Aaron Judge looks like Miles Garrett size wise.
He's 6'8", I think.
He's crazy.
I mean, he's got to be like 280. He looks like a defensive lineman.
Kind of along those lines, when we had All-Star Weekend here for baseball a couple years ago, it was alarming. The media, and I get like the international press is far more involved in NBA than it is baseball.
Yeah.
But like if LeBron, Carmelo, Dwayne, any of those guys would take the podium, it's 15 deep.
Yeah.
To be able to, you couldn't ask a question. You had to get there 25 minutes before they get to the podium just to get your spot, just to ask one question. It's the media is so packed around their tables. I could walk up to Trout's table in the middle of there's nobody there. It was just, this is the best player in baseball.
Well, because it's funny because basketball is all about the stars, and baseball is all about the teams and the regions. Like it's a regional sport more. Yeah. Whereas in basketball, it's the complete opposite.
It was fascinating to be part of MLB because I'd done a ton of NBA All-Star, and you get these people. LeBron, give a shout out to Germany. Your fans in Germany.
Yeah.
And LeBron, give a shout out to the Philippines. Say hello to your friends in the Philippines.
Oh, listen. My wife, when I met her, she didn't.
Oh, that's right.
She
I just said the Philippines. I don't even think.
My wife was like, I say, well, dude, what do you watch? They're like, we watch Manny Pacquiao, we watch LeBron James, and we watch Curry. And I'm like, and Michael Jordan, and Michael Jackson. And I'm like, how do you know about LeBron James? They're like, oh, we watch all LeBron's games. I'm like, how? Like, I can't watch all the Browns games on the Bally's app. How you got it?
On the Bally's app.
How you got the Bally's app?
The Bally's app is trash.
What are you talking about?